I hope everybody out there is doing well, and it is also my hope that if you're taking the time to watch a video like this one, you have made the choice to commit to being a lifelong learner and apply the things you learn along the way. This is the only way to attain and maintain success, especially financially, because the markets and the regulations that govern them are always changing. Today, we'll be talking about the most important date in both personal and international finance in the past 60 years, the event that occurred on that date, and why the financial landscape was changed forever as a result. The most influential date in modern finance is August 15, 1971. Why is this the case? Because it was the date that every major currency on the planet became a fiat currency, meaning that they no longer had any intrinsic value. After this date, governments, especially the United States, now had no external constraints on the amount of currency they could introduce, and therefore it could be printed in unlimited amounts. Before this event, currencies were valuable intrinsically because they were backed by an item that had economic value, usually a precious metal, and that served as a natural restriction on excessive currency creation. So prior to 1971, the agreement that governed how national currencies were valued against each other was the Bretton Woods system. This system was created in July of 1944 towards the end of the Second World War, when a meeting called the United Nations Monetary and Financial Conference was held at the Mount Washington Hotel in Bretton Woods, New Hampshire. The meeting was attended by representatives from 44 countries. Their goal was to create a system that would avoid the problems that the previous system, which was the classical gold standard, had. Another objective of this meeting was to create a framework that would prevent countries from engaging in competitive currency devaluations and unfair trade practices. In the final agreement the delegates created, all currencies would be pegged to the dollar, and the dollar would in turn be pegged to gold at a fixed price of $35 per ounce. It also meant that any country that held dollars could exchange it for gold at the fixed price. This system worked until the 1960s, when other countries started to view the dollar as overvalued because of overspending by the United States government for policies like President Lyndon Johnson's Great Society and the Vietnam War. This was a logical conclusion by the other countries in the system because the scarcity of a currency significantly affects its value. So the more a government prints, the less that currency is worth. And when a currency's value declines, it buys less goods and services. So basically, the United States government printed more currency than could be supported by the amount of gold that the country held. Because of this, the other countries in the Bretton Woods system started to turn in their dollars for gold at a rapid pace. President Charles de Gaulle of France led the way. As a result, on August 15, 1971, although he did not officially end the Bretton Woods system and actually planned on returning to it at a future date, President Nixon essentially rendered the agreement untenable when he said this.
Accordingly, I have directed the Secretary of the Treasury to take the action necessary to defend the dollar against the speculators. I have directed Secretary Connally to suspend temporarily the convertibility of the dollar into gold or other reserve assets, except in amounts and conditions determined to be in the interest of monetary stability and in the best interest of the United States.
About 2 years after his speech, the Bretton Woods system collapsed in 1973, and as a result, all major currencies became free-floating, meaning that their value was determined by free market forces like supply and demand. Pick up your copy of my book, The Wealth Indicators, on Amazon today. And if you think this information is valuable, like and share this video with anyone you know who would be interested. Leave a comment or question if you have one, and follow the channel for more ways to improve your financial life. May the best of your today be the worst of your tomorrow.